Hey, what's up you guys, Stoutmeister here, and unfortunately, today's Shut the Fuck Up is dedicated to a YouTuber that I had a lot of respect for quite some time now, until a few recent events that have happened that made me slowly lose a bit of respect for this guy. And it's such a shame because for a while I thought he was a very, very genuine guy. And right when he turns into an atheist, I slowly noticed that he has been making 180s to the point where he's becoming a completely different person. I also want to give a shut the fuck up more so towards people that are just pulling the double standard card right out of their ass, justifying certain behaviors that Daniel's been pulling. Now, before I go into depth with this subject right here, I do want to give my condolences to Paul Walker, whom was a pretty famous actor in all the Fast and Furious movies. I want to give my condolences to the family members of Paul Walker, Paul Walker's friends, the Fast and Furious crew, the fans of Paul Walker, anybody else in general that has associated with Paul Walker at least at some time in their life. I was a big fan of all the movies. The only one I haven't seen was the sixth one. Great movies, one of my favorite series of movies, and you're going to be very, very missed, not only as a great actor, but a great person in general among those that you had an impact on. Just to give a little bit of a follow-up on the whole MrRepzion drama, this drama can be traced back all the way a few months ago, when MrRepzion uploaded a video for a very brief amount of time, where he basically was contemplating on suicide. He was talking about all sorts of plans he had before committing suicide around the age of 25, talking about how he's opened up insurance policies so that his parents could get a bunch of money off his death. In that video, he pretty much disabled the ratings and the comments on there, pretty much telling people that he did that for the reason that he doesn't want feedback because he doesn't give a shit about your feedback. And people showed their concern, and there's a YouTuber, I believe it was Brett Keane, he called the cops because he was worried about MrRepzion. I don't know if anybody else called the cops or not, or called any suicide hotlines or anything like that, but he got really pissed off at that point when this whole thing happened and word got out about that. When MrRepzion took the video down from his channel, of course, with videos like that, there are going to be people that mirror these videos. And I'll try to find a mirrored version of this video so that I can put it in the description down below. If it doesn't get taken down by MrRepzion or anyone associated with MrRepzion, but that's not the main issue that people are having with MrRepzion right now. The main issue that people have been developing with MrRepzion is how he's condoned suicide over the last few weeks, if not few months. And this is not counting the one video he did on the documentary talking about assisted suicide, where it was following the lifestyle of this elderly man that was dying from a terminal illness. And I remember watching both Repzion's video and the documentary, and I was heartbroken from the very fact that he was going through this illness, and he wanted to die with assisted suicide so that he didn't have to go through the pain anymore. Outside of those type of things, MrRepzion also condones suicide if you had depression, chronic depression, as well as you had a breakup in a relationship, your parents are fighting, whatever excuse you want to throw out there. If you don't want to live anymore, it's your choice, so go ahead and go kill yourself. That is the main issue that I have with MrRepzion as well. Another issue I'm having with Daniel right now is some of the hypocrisies that he's been showing. One of those hypocrisies I've seen is with his whole filing of DMCA claims. And no, I'm not talking about the legitimate privacy complaints that may have happened. I have no problem with people filing privacy complaints if you're personally being attacked to the point where personal information's being leaked, especially top secret personal information without your consent. It's one thing to do that, and I will never attack Daniel or anybody for doing that. It's another thing to say that you only made one privacy complaint that was legitimate, but you never false flagged, yet in a Skype call with the troll posse, you said that you filed a privacy complaint falsely, a false DMCA, just to see if the flagging system was at fault. Now, I'm going to show you the clip where he is saying that. Here we go.
And YouTube. Obviously, the crazy thing is about YouTube is, the two people I've seen people claiming that you can file a false privacy complaint, and then UTF says you can't. I'm all for actually abusing the system and actually showing that you can abuse the system, because I've done it before. I filed a false privacy complaint before just to see if it works. Back in 2009, when I had this user filed a false DMCA against me and got my account actually terminated, my MrRepzion account was actually terminated for abuse for DMCA. YouTube restored my account because it was false, and in return I filed several false privacy complaints on the guy who used my video, and I got it easily taken off. And I didn't even use my MrRepzion account. I used a completely different username, because obviously if I file a false privacy complaint on a bot, I will get my account terminated. That's why I created another account to do it. But so it is possible.
So you use like a soft account in order to not risk your channel getting terminated.
Yeah, I mean, it's that easy. All you need to do is just have my email, which is on my channel. You have to have my full name, which I give in all my videos.
As you can see with that little clip, nothing's been altered, nothing's been edited, nothing's been taken out of context. Daniel has 100% admitted to filing a false DMCA just to see if it would work. I'm gonna have that short clip from MDA's channel as well as the full clip, the full Skype call, in the description down below. Daniel, whether or not your intention was to show that the flagging system is faulty on YouTube, it's still false flagging if you're flagging a video down just to flag it down. It's against YouTube's terms of service, for God's sakes. And yet, you have the audacity to say that you never filed a false DMCA on Tumblr when you've been exposed in a Skype call with the vibrations of your voice projecting out from the speakers from the YouTube video into our ears. The nerve. And what's worse is that there are fans defending you for this. There are fans that are so fucking stupid that they can't sit there and watch a video for more than 5 seconds that isn't fucking MrRepzion's face on Repzion's channel, for God's sakes. I'm just waiting for a fanboy or fangirl of MrRepzion, or even MrRepzion himself, to either leave a comment on this video, make a video response, Facebook, Tumblr post, whatever, and be like,
MrRepzion would never say anything like that in a serious manner, Stoutmeister. MrRepzion probably said that to get a joke, to get a rise out of people, to make us laugh, because MrRepzion is really anti-bullying and wants peace in the world in real life.
MrRepzion really isn't known for his humor as much as he's known for being anti-bullying, giving out advice to people going through depression, going through being fat-shamed, slut-shamed, and all that other shit. Hypothetically, if he really did say that in the Skype call just to get a rise out of people, just to get attention, it would be a lose-lose situation in his case, because that would prove to us that he's an attention whore and that he would do anything to get a rise out of people. The very fact that he's dismissing the claims by saying that the DMCA claims are false, the very fact that they would accuse me of such a thing, and look at the name Troll Posse, the name gives it away. Yet you were in a call on Skype, and you've been on quite a few calls on Skype with the Troll Posse. Yeah, I'm not buying that bullshit, Daniel. The second major hypocrisy that I've noticed from you, Daniel, is the Paul Walker tweet that you made a little recently. And the double standard that comes with this will be addressed in just a minute, but for those that don't know the tweet, here's the tweet right here. Stop sending me links about hashtag RIP Paul Walker. I'm not making a video about it. But at least he died fast and furious, right? Winky face. Because it's ironic, right? He was driving too fast and the car exploded and he died. Yeah, I feel that joke was in poor taste now, wasn't it? That tweet, remember you guys, this tweet came from a YouTuber that is really known for making videos about anti-bullying. He often makes advice videos on how to cope with bullying, how to cope with depression, how to cope with suicidal thoughts. Yet, he's really not as sensitive about death as you might think, considering the fact that he's always talked about how depressed he is and how he wants to kill himself if he doesn't get a girlfriend at 25 and all this other bullshit. Yet, he can make jokes like this on Twitter. Yet, he posts memes constantly on Tumblr that look a little bit like this, for example. What you must understand about me is that I am a deeply unhappy person. Deeply unhappy person. And death is a sensitive topic for you, and you can make a joke about another person's death. Just to show you how crazy this shit can get, I'll show you a couple more Tumblr posts that I saw. You seem to have a lot of opinions regarding this sort of thing, and I have no answers for myself. So, hypothetically, if a good friend of yours was struggling with self-harm and suicidal thoughts and dealing with a lot of pain in their everyday life, would you still try talking them out of committing suicide, or would you let them in their pain? This has been an ongoing dilemma for me for a few months, and I'd like an objective opinion. Oh, I would certainly try to talk them out of it, but if they're set in their ways, there really isn't anything I can do to stop them. It's their choice. The very fact that you can brush this whole thing off, like, meh, it's their choice, I don't give a shit, gets under my skin really fucking badly, and I can't help that right now. Coming from somebody that had a close friend commit suicide 3 years ago, a week after my friend's grandfather passed away, the very fact that I've been a shoulder to cry on for numerous people that have attempted suicide, that have gone through depression, being the person that was always there for them, and being a person that has gone through depression and suicidal thoughts myself, and the closest thing I got to cutting was when I was between 12 and 14, when I was going through self-worthlessness issues and depression to the point where I had to be on a good chunk of medication, including Zoloft. I came close to cutting myself by bashing my hand into a mirror to where my wrist and my knuckles and hand were pretty much bleeding pretty bad. Thankfully, there wasn't any permanent damage done to my hand. There are no scars or anything like that, thank God. And thank God that I never attempted suicide or worse, because I would have missed out on so fucking much right now. If I had been a much weaker person that surrounded themselves with much weaker people and bigger assholes, and I had taken advice that you've been giving out to people that are coping with suicidal thoughts, and you tell them that if they're going through some sort of clinical depression, there's nothing you can do, commit suicide, you're going through a breakup, commit suicide. That gets under my skin pretty fucking badly, Daniel, and you ought to be a goddamn ashamed of yourself. Just imagine if I had done the same thing, Daniel. If I told a fan of mine, or a close friend of mine, or anybody else talking to me about their struggles, and I told them that they have my permission to kill themselves if they're going through their struggles and they don't want to live anymore. Do you know how much guilt that I would have, considering the fact that their death would be on my shoulders because I encouraged it? The death of your fans or anybody that would actually take that advice from you, they better be weighing on your goddamn shoulders if that actually happens, because if it's not, then you're a bigger asshole than you make yourself out to be, and you're a bigger asshole than anybody else makes you out to be. Let's not forget this Tumblr post from this anti-bullying, anti-death, peaceful activist has to say to his fan right here. Hi Daniel, I just wanted to ask this. If at any point soon you do die, will you let anyone know before? Like people who watch you on YouTube? Or will we just one day not hear from you? I hope that doesn't sound rude, I am just curious. If I were to take my life, I would have some very long handwritten letters to my family and few people that I care for. But otherwise, no. Remember people, that response came from a YouTuber that wants peace in the world. He wants anti-bullying to pretty much conquer the world. He's an anti-bullying activist. He talks about how he's helped out in Africa. He talks about how he's such a charitable person. He often makes videos about how you shouldn't make fun of people for being fat. You should not make fun of rape. You should not make fun of death. You should not fat shame, slut shame. You should not shame anything in general. But when it's convenient for Daniel to make a joke about a celebrity's death, it's perfectly fine. But if anybody else makes a joke about a celebrity's death, or a death of a person that's really not that famous, then they're assholes, they're attention whores, they're every bad name in the dictionary. And let's not forget how his fanboys and fangirls are worse in certain areas as well. Way worse than Daniel. Because the very fact that they get on to people for trying to reach out to Repzion, showing concern for some of the actions he's pulled, they're calling this petty internet drama bullshit. Yet, when the same thing is done towards people like Onision and Blood on the Dance Floor, or any other atrocity that we talk about, it's perfectly fine. That double standard right there is flat out fucking bullshit. And people like Onision and Blood on the Dance Floor are way fucking worse than Repzion. And I have never compared Repzion to Onision, so if you thought about making that comment on this video, you might as well stop, because that would be a waste of fucking time, and if you did, I would find it hilarious. Let's not forget that the same type of fanboys and fangirls would pull a double standard in another area as well. If anybody else were to post about suicide the way that MrRepzion has recently, they would be attention whores. People would be insulting the living shit out of you if you did anything like that, if you showed a picture of your cut wrists, or you posted a meme about how depressed you are and how you want to kill yourself and all this other shit on Facebook posts, Tumblr posts, tweets, and all that other shit. But since it's MrRepzion, he's practically a god, so he can get away with that shit. How you can usually tell when someone is severely depressed and suicidal, when you know that about somebody, they don't constantly make posts about it on Facebook or Tumblr, or post videos about it on YouTube, or talk about it on any social networking site. They might do it every now and again if they're really feeling down, or if they want to share a personal story, but they don't do it on a day-to-day basis. And if they want to talk with people about it, they usually talk with therapists, they usually talk with someone close to them, whether it be a close friend, relative, so on and so forth. But if you constantly post depressing shit, especially if it's about minor shit, more than likely you're just trying to get attention out of it. And again, I do speak from experience firsthand, as well as knowing from people close to me that have gone through depression, suicidal thoughts, attempted suicide, so on and so forth. They wouldn't brag about it. It's nothing to brag about at all, and it's nothing to glorify at all. Oh, and there's one more Tumblr post I want to share before ending this video. There are a bunch of people saying that they unsubscribed because of all this drama, and I completely find it stupid. Your posts on suicide have nothing to do with the content you make. Oh really? So the suicide video he made and then took off along with other videos he's tackled on suicide have nothing to do with what he does at all? Your content is still pretty fucking good. Some guy and other nobodies are using this drama only to get views because everyone loves to see some guy raging about something. The funny thing is that so many people have the same opinion on suicide as you, including me, and no one attacks them, but a guy with 100,000 plus subs. Maybe because those nobodies aren't condoning people to commit suicide if they're going through depression or want any sort of reason to have an out. Not very many people have unsubscribed actually since the whole spiel. I track my gains and losses nearly every day. I really couldn't give a flying shit if someone unsubscribes to me over petty internet drama. Here we go with that quote again. That I never started to begin with. My channel has never been about drama, with the exception of MrRepzion. All gained the several subs lost instantly within an hour or so anyway. You've never talked about dramatic stuff? Talking about some of the news stories is somewhat drama related to a degree. It's not YouTube level type of drama, but there is some sort of drama in some of the vlogs that you do, Daniel. There's some drama related stuff on my channel as well when I talk about serious news articles and drama like this, but yeah, I don't participate in a lot of the YouTube drama unless it's stuff like this or stuff like MrRepzion or changes that Google makes. My view on suicide is actually pretty damn popular from people who I know personally and my viewers themselves. The only people who are really against my views on suicide, which aren't my views, are the people who hear what they want to hear. I am responsible for what I say, but not how they interpret what I say. So your suicidal views are not your views, yet you said in your video that you took down that if you don't get what you want by the age of 25, you're gonna go kill yourself. And I disabled the comments and ratings of that video because I don't want your feedback, because I already know what you're gonna say in the comment section below and in the messenger. I've seen the fucking video, dude. I'm not misinterpreting it in any way, shape, or form. That is exactly what you fucking said. And as far as people hearing what they want to hear, of course there are going to be assholes that do that. But people that actually are concerned, they're not hearing what they want to hear. They're concerned about you because some of these YouTubers that you're shunning away were friends of yours, like Must Destroy All and Stevie, aka Some Guy 827 for example. These guys were friends with you, and you're just pushing them away because they tried reaching out to you at first, but they're pissed off with some of the actions that you pulled recently, and you're the one that blocked them on Twitter, Facebook, Skype, whatever you decided to do. You're the one that got them out of your life. They never wanted out of your life. And if you knew that these people were so dramatic in the first place and that they wanted to cause drama all this time, why were you friends with them all this time? Why did you partake in the Skype calls with them in the past? I just don't understand some of this logic behind this whole thing. Let's not forget sometime last year, and this was a time where I followed MrRepzion. I thought he was a great YouTuber and all this other stuff. The news where Fox News accidentally aired the carjacker committing suicide. There's another contradiction that I noticed now that I think about it. MrRepzion called the guy a coward for committing suicide, and rightfully so, because he almost killed the police in a car chase, and he ran out in the field, and he shot himself. And he pretty much said in a video that he took the coward's way out. However, I cannot show you this video because I couldn't find a mirrored version of this video anywhere, and his video was flagged for being age inappropriate. I'm not sure if this is one of the videos that eventually got taken down by YouTube, or if he took it down on his own, or whatever happened to that video. But I do remember seeing that in his video, and if anybody else remembers that, let me know in the comment section below. For anybody that may be curious on where you can find more evidence on MrRepzion's hypocrisy and double standards, I'm going to have some links in the description down below. A good chunk of those links are going to be from Must Destroy All, where he's made a few videos on MrRepzion. At first showing some concern about him condoning suicide, and then the false DMCA claims, and then him exposing him in the Skype calls, as well as videos from other YouTubers talking about the drama, and some videos talking about their experience with depression. I'm going to post all those links in the description down below. Now for Muggy to have his 2 cents right here. Daniel, shut the fuck up, get your head out of your ass, and just come clean already, please. You've been exposed long enough. This drama's been going on long enough. You're gonna look so much better if you just come clean with this bullshit. Just admit that you fucked up and you were wrong for pulling the double standard card. I'm not gonna lie, I've made fun of death. I have a controversial sense of humor at times. I've portrayed this in a few GATG videos, which I can link in the description down below just to show you a few examples. But the difference between me and you, Daniel, is that I don't portray myself as an anti-bullying activist like you two. I'm against bullying, but I'm not going to tell people to not be bullying and then do the same thing myself. I'm not going to tell people to not make a joke about rape or death and then do the same thing myself. That is just sheer hypocrisy right there. I'm also not going to tell my viewers to not file false DMCAs on anybody while I'm doing the same thing myself. And to the fanboys, the fangirls that are pretty much lactating off his dick. Stop lactating off his dick. Stop taking in every single word that he says just because he's one of your favorite YouTubers. Learn to think for yourself. Learn to think objectively. Learn to think in an unbiased manner. There are so many ways to think other than thinking in a black and white manner. There is this amazing organ that is in our skull called the brain for that very fucking reason. Stop justifying MrRepzion's actions while condemning other people that are doing the same type of actions. And stop fucking condemning people that are trying to express their concern for MrRepzion while glorifying those same people that express their concern and even hate for other people that are doing the same thing as MrRepzion for the love of God. It is just bullshit that there are people that do this in this world. Now, if you want to come up with your own shut the fuck up line, leave it down in the comment section below, and if you have any more evidence that you want to show against MrRepzion, YouTube has made it where URLs are able to be posted in the comment section below, so feel free to do that. Now, cheers motherfuckers. Today's Thirst Quencher and Energy Provider is brought to you by Monster Cuba Lima. It's fucking amazing, that's all I gotta say about that. Now, if you want to get a little bit of official GATG merch, you can go to the Spreadshirt website, which the link will be in the description down below, where you can get your own official GATG, shut the fuck up mugs, cheers motherfucker mugs, t-shirts, water bottles, hoodies, and all sorts of great stuff like that. Stay tuned for more videos, take care, see you later, cue an epic outro music now.